Alrighty. May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer, and it's in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect this message. Amen. Amen. All right. Hello, everybody. Try and do a little bit of chord structure today. See if we can learn some things through some chords. Just like anything else, chords have structure. And as we get ready to start, we give all praise once again to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. We give all praise and honor to Him from our wife, the Honorable Maya, who lives a life that's able to be honored. You can check her out at Bloom and Flourish on TikTok, YouTube, her website, and Pinterest. Not A-N-D, but the letter N. Hello to everybody. Welcome in. So we're going to talk about some things today. So, interesting thing about chord structure is we only have a few people coming on. Maybe some people hear us playing music and they're like, oh my goodness, what are they doing? I thought we were coming in for teaching. So, interesting thing about chords, once again, is that chord structure with music or with anything else, you're dealing with law, right? You're dealing with law, principles, statutes. You can, once you learn them, you can do a few different things. But no matter what you do, you have to stay inside a certain law, right? If I'm doing C major scale, if we're to be a major scale, it's got to be the same law no matter what, right? If I go up half step, C sharp or D or E flat or E or F. And forgive me, this keyboard, some of the keys don't work, but we're gonna try to make this work for you guys to see. But it's gonna be, the chord structure is very important, right? Just like structure in life structure is very important, right? And if you understand certain structures, certain concepts, you can start playing different things in different keys. So there's only really technically 13 scales, right? Or at least 13 scales if you're dealing with like I don't know how deep I would go into music theory tonight, but you really have like 13 scales. Yes, Yahweh loves us very much. Yahshua loves us very much. This loves us. Thank you very much for being on. And no matter what we're dealing with basically 13 scales. There's 15 technically, but 2 of them are just two of the scales have two different names. So there's 15, but it's really just 13. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Really, I guess you could say 12. Really, but and so when we go through this, you have basically 13 scales. Now, if I started in a different place, you call it a different scale. So this is a major scale, right? You call this if we would do so there's something called limb dapple. So let's say like this is a C major scale, right? So if I have the structure, if I have the law in place, if I know what the scale is, right? And if I do that, I can do, there's something called limb dapple, which is a way of saying like 7 different scales. L, I, A, M, P, O, D, L. So if I start on one of these 7 notes in a different place, I now have something called a different scale. Okay. So if I start in a different place, I have basically different scales, right? Just because I have a structure. I have a law, right? So a law tells me, right? But if I wanted to do what's called a Lydian scale, I would start in the 4th note of the scale, right? That would give me, right? It means that the 4th is high, but all I did was start on the 4th note. So if the 4th note if I start the 4th note, then usually it would sound like, but I'm making the 4th note because it's a different scale. I'm making it go high, right? But if I say in the white keys again, and I simply go to C, which is where it's supposed to be, it'll sound like what we would call an Ionian scale, or basically we would call it, basically we would call it a major scale. Right? Now if I go to the next one, which would be Mixolydian, that means that I would just go to the 4th note down again, and I have the next one. And that's something that you hear with like a right? So I just did something, and all it is based off of structure. So if I know something like this, let's make it simple, right? If I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, if I were to just say we're gonna do, what we I just went 1, 4, 1. I went 1, 4, 1. Now, and when I'm saying all these things, why does all this stuff matter when we talk about chord structure, when we're talking about structure of life, chord structure? Well, how I structure things, right? What I'm doing is I'm saying to a particular structure, I have certain stipulations. If I try to come outside of those stipulations, right, I can mess something up. So if I'm trying to put two chords that go close to each other, it might not make sense. That sounds weird. I'm in major chord, but I'm trying to do major chords in 2 different places, right? It sounds off. But if I do that, it'll give you, it sounds nice. The tension, right? It's something, and musicians write songs like this on purpose, right? You hear songs where people are on purpose trying to get you to tense up, but then they're going to make you feel nice, right? Or you'll hear something like this a lot of times. It's done. You'll hear, right? Something that is known. There's a vibration. There's a frequency, right? You're dealing with frequency. You're dealing with law, natural law, and so this principle is there, right? If something's, just because something's close, you hear something, it sounds prettier that way, right? But it sounds even more pretty this way. So what I'm doing is something I'm trying to say, hey, even though it feels a certain way, right? Even though things feel tense, even though things might not be going right, even though it seems like everything, but something's not quite in your life, I'm trying to tell you it's going to be okay, right? Or maybe I even want to do, but I want it to be really pretty. So I go, right? And I did all that on purpose. There's things that are done, and what we're trying to show is the same laws, principles. Sometimes things get a little tough and they're hard to listen to, but if you can get it in the holistic place, right? Sometimes scripture, sometimes things we're going through doesn't make sense, but if you can get a holistic place, if you can get the whole culture together, something that seems like it's too tight is actually something that works out, right? Like, so for example, here's another one, right? Let's say I'm doing this right here. That kind of hurts, right? That kind of like, it's a little irritating, right? Because that's the seventh and the eighth note. They go right next to each other, right? But if I take the seventh note, somebody would say, ooh, that's wrong. That's not correct. But if I take this note and I put it down an octave and I keep the same note here, now the same note, the way we played it at first, it's a lot going on, right? But if I simply say, you know what, if I put it in its proper place, now it sounds, now you might say that still is off, but it's a little better. Now what if I gave you the whole chord? Right? You still hear that tension though, right? You can hear that tension, not as much as when it was there, but you hear that tension. But now if I spread it out in the chord, I just made it holistic. I've just made it holy, right? When it's by itself, even if it's the notes that's supposed to be touched, it's not the same as giving you, right? Even if I went like this, that's a little better than if it doesn't make sense. But if I spread it out, and if I give you at least one other note in there, now it sounds great, right? So when you're playing songs, when you're going through life and stuff, a lot of people will give up on something because it's tight, but it doesn't mean that just because somebody's giving you this, it doesn't mean that it doesn't fit into something like this. Right? Really tight, right? They used to say, what, it's tight, but it's right. That's something they say in church circles, right? It's tight, but it's right, right? It's tight. It's difficult. It doesn't seem like it makes sense. If I put three of them together, it's a little better. But if I just put a little something extra, that makes more sense, right? And it's the same thing with structure. It's the same thing with life. A lot of people are just giving up because of this. You just say this doesn't make sense, but don't pay attention only to this. Try to see where this fits within. So a lot of stuff that you hear musically. I told you some of these don't work. This is on this keyboard. I'm playing notes, trying to give them to you examples. But nevertheless, you get the idea, right? So, you have something like or even sometimes there's something called first, second, third position, right? First, second, third position, right? So let me just do it like this. Sometimes it'd be a fourth position. Long story short, we have different positions that we can play in, because if we play in different positions, right? If we play in different positions, check this out. If I play something in a different position, then it means I have to move a lot. Now I can still do it, right? So I could do something, for example, like this. During my son's lesson today, we were working on, while I was showing him some stuff like this, like I think it was something like a. Something like that, right? So if you look at my hand, he was going like this, I'm moving a lot, but that's not how I was playing it in front of him. He asked the question. He was like, well, how are you doing that? He said, you're playing real fast. Your hands don't seem to be moving. He knew they were moving up and down, but I wasn't moving the position of my hand because I was playing it in a different position. I could play it the way I just did, where I'm here, and I have to move down, and I have to move over here, then I have to move over here. Now, I can do that, but it's not necessarily the most effective. If I want a certain sound, maybe I do that once or twice. But I was playing it like this. If you notice, my hand will look like it's not really moving, but so much, if at all, right? So this is how I was playing it when he saw it. I was playing it like this. Well, that's a lot different than me getting all the way up here and having to go down. Why? Because I can play the same chord, right, in a different position. So sometimes the position you're doing something in, it causes you to make a whole lot of extra movement. You can still execute, but it's causing wear and tear, right? It's causing you to be in positions. It's causing frustration. It's causing things to happen that don't necessarily need to happen at all, right? But because we're all over the place, right? We're still getting the stuff done, but we think that we have to be all over the place. No, I can do the same stuff and just stay in the same place, right? And you still get the same gist. You still get the same vibe, right? You still get that, right? Whether I'm doing that like this, sorry, or whether I keep it in the same place. You get the same vibe. You get the same energy from it. Right? No matter where I'm moving, right? If I'm moving all over the place, you'll get a vibe and everything, but it's harder to do versus staying in one place. So I could even do the same thing now because I'm not, doing all this. I can actually do some other things too. It's easier for me to do things like, sorry. Right? I can go to all these different places. And because my hand doesn't have to move, if you notice, I don't have to look, right? And I'll put my hand up here, just in case somebody thinks I'm cheating through the camera, right? Right? So if I'm staying in position, it makes something easier. Now, it doesn't mean I shouldn't develop some other things to move, right? But learning how to stay learning how to go in a different position causes me to not have to only be in a position that tires me out. And a lot of us are doing a lot of things that are all over the place as far as position. So the chord structure can be played in a different position as long as it doesn't matter if I'm playing it like this, or whether I'm playing it like this, or whether I'm playing it like this, or whether I'm playing it like this, you're still getting the same, you're still hearing the same note. Right? So I can play it from different positions. So as your life's up in a way where things could be done in a different position. Right? Right? So it's not working that well. So like if I know the chord structure of this song, so if I know the chord structure of a song, really what we're dealing with is structure. No matter what I'm doing, right? So now I could do something like, and forgive my, I'm not a great singer, but like, lately I have had the strangest feeling, with no vivid reason here to find, yet the thought of losing you's been hanging from my mind. Right? I know the chord structure now. Because I also know the different laws and principles, I can take that same song and go to another key, right? Lately I have had the strangest feeling, with no vivid reason here to find, or with no vivid reason here to find. Right? So no matter where it is, you know, you can keep on going up and up, you know. Lately I have had the strangest feeling, with no vivid reason here to find. Right? What is it? Yet the thought of losing you've been hanging from my mind. Wherever it is that you're going, right? It's the same structure. So if I know, and like I said, forget the singing, but you know, no matter where I am, the structure, the chord structure is what I'm getting you to pay attention to. No matter where I'm going, it's the same thing, right? It's the same structure. Because I know the structure, because I know the laws, because I know the statutes, because I know the principles, no matter where I go, I will be able to make sure that I'm in tune, so to speak, right? Right? So it doesn't matter what I'm doing. You know? Something my son and I were working on, right? For one of his lessons, is basic lessons for independence, right? Right? If I know the structure of the chord, I could do a bunch of stuff with this song, right? Y'all know that song, right? So, you know, I could do your... Right, something different, because I know the structure. So now the structure allows me to be able to go to all these different things, right? It's the chord structure that causes me to be able to go. But if I do it a different, right? So I just did, you know, something that's more jazz, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. But I take that same chord structure. Now I change the feel of it, depending on what it is that we want to be fed, right? Depending on what we're led to do. So now this can become something like we were doing before. It's the same chords. Right? Same chords. Same chords. You said when we're going to collaborate, we can see. We got to figure out that time. That time is the part that I got to add that to my structure, right? But see, so I just did that, right? Or if I want to do using the same chords, now that I have the structure, right? Same structure. I didn't move. I didn't have to move, right? Or if you learn one structure, you'll start learning different things. Like, you know, you'll start learning one song. So, like, let's say you're doing every praise, right? It's to our God, every word of worship with one accord. Every praise, every prayer is to our God. Right? So that was using the same structure. Right? I just changed it around a little bit, right? But if I know, right? There's a whole lot of songs that go. Like there's a lot of songs that you can do out of that, and it's the same structure. There's a lot of things you can do in your life. There's a lot of things you can do in your calling once you have the structure down. Once the structure is down, you're in a different place. You're in a different mindset. Right? You said you wish you could play music, cheat, drum pads, and loops and stuff. Well, if y'all want some lessons every once in a while, you can holler at me. We have to figure out the time once again. Right? Now, if you notice when I did this, right? Right? But now that same structure, that same lick, right? If I know the structure of what it is, and I apply it in a different way, right? I know the interpretation, so let's say I want to apply that in a different way instead of, right? same structure, but now I just did a different style. Because the same thing is, right? I just did it differently. I just did a slight rhythm differential, right? So the structure causes me now to say I can play with the rhythm, right? So, you know, if somebody, right? Somebody may be in, right? I can do that. But what if it's, you know, something like, so the different, so the structure is what's keeping me in place. That's why we talk so much about structure. That's why we talk about so much about culture. And even musically, we just did some things culturally, right? Right? It's the same culture, but it's a little different in the culture instead of going, right? A little different, right? Same thing culturally, right? Culturally, right? I know chord structure, right? And usually it's because we, you know, it's a little difficult maybe sometimes because we didn't get taught a way that's easiest for us to know. But all I'm doing is just expressing culture, right? So if I do, right, but if I go, right, we're just talking about culture. Or what if it's, yeah, what if it's, right? It's the same structure, but you can see now culture affects the structure, right? Same structure, but now what culture affects the structure? So somebody comes in saying, you know, I need Jesus on it, right? I need the, but we say we came in here with Yeshua, right? I'm sorry. Right. So it was either, sorry. Right, I added a different, it's the same structure, right, but it's a different culture, right? The culture brings the flavor. Thank you, Sis Beverly. The culture brings a different flavor, right? So it's the same thing in life. That's why we're talking about all this stuff with culture. That's why we're telling you these things. All the culture makes a difference in your chords, right? Right. So I can even change, right? I can change, and forgive me, I don't really mess with this keyboard too much. So I can do. Let's see how it's going. chord structure here. Right? It's the same chord structure, but it sounds a lot different if I go. Right? Same chord structure, but it sounds different than. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Where was I at? Right? Same structure. For some reason, silver and gold is not in my head right now. I've played it before, but I don't. For some reason, it's not in my head. But so we're trying. So even the sound now. So now the way that you speak, the voice that you bring to it, the things like that, right? Now when you bring those things together, it's different. It's the same chord structure, but now the sound that you bring, right, is different. You see that? So let's see. So like, here's something that we could do real quick, right? So that's a basic, right? But what if I went? Actually, you can't hear it that well on this. Let's say we went. It's hard. Like I'm doing a little more there. It's still the same chord structure. Same, right? I just did the same chord structure, but I just moved it up a little. So I'm doing the same stuff, but the chord structure, knowing the chord structure allows me to be able to move. And long story short, it's the structure in life, right? It's the structure in life that allows you to be able to move, right? And I don't practice as much anymore, so I'm sorry the songs, aren't really coming to me, right? Played all these songs my life and that because I work more. My work is now in the speaking and the teaching and the preaching, and having the bags and everything crumpled in the background. But my work is more in that, so I don't really have all the stuff there. Let's see. I don't know if I can. Hold on. Yeah, we can't play that one on here. What am I trying to think though? What am I trying to think? The keys don't work on this the way I need them to. Right, but it's the chord structure. Long story short, it's the structure that's gonna get you to where you need to be, right? I'm being honest with you. I don't remember His Eyes on the Sparrow, right? on the sparrow. He watching me. I sing because I'm happy. Something like that, right? I sing because I'm free. Oh yeah, his eye is on the span. That's what those scores we were just playing. Road, and I know you watching over me. Something like that. I can't remember. I can't remember how that goes. Something like that. I don't get to practice that much anymore. Until it's time to do something for somebody else, right? Oh goodness, this turning into requests. I'm going over yonder. I'm gonna mess it up. Just like a. Right? But same structure. Same structure. But it's just in a different key because I could drop it down to where we were in C. So kind of embarrassed. Music used to be my first love. I used to put so much energy and effort into this. I can't even remember these songs. Right, but even in that, you know, when you're playing, once again, same stuff. I'm doing some of the same stuff I'm talking about, where some of the notes, they sound like this, but if you notice, you didn't really hear it or feel it because I was giving you the holistic. Right? Same principles, same structure. Those structures can be applied. Even if I haven't played piano in all this time and I'm not practicing for months and months and months now, you know, I can still be able to give somebody a lesson, to be able to give you the structure. Because it's the structure that's going to cause you, right? And muscle memory, right? Because of years of practice, right? So even if you get away from something, you feel like you gotten away from the word, you feel like you gotten away from things in your life, that muscle memory shows up to where I might not know, right? Like, whatever. I told you some of the keys don't work. Keys aren't working. So the keys I need aren't working for that song. But muscle memory, I can't tell you the last time I actually played that song. But if somebody said, "Can you teach it to me?" I could be able to teach it because the principles are still there. The origin, right? The origin of that thing is still there, right? Right there. Let me hold you tight. Right, something like that. I can't remember, but just muscle memory, I could do that. Or here's an interesting thing about that: show you how all these things go together, and you could easily turn like that thing I just did there. I don't even know if people know what I'm playing. So yeah, so. It's the same thing I was just playing, but now we put some different words on it. It sounds like this. It sounds like that one sounds, if I play it a little different, it sounds like you switch it up a little bit and you put something else on it, it sounds like a whole different tune, right? So the structure and the flow is what's going to cause you to be able to move to different things like that, right? Yeah, the structure and the chord, and they're all, and I'm playing the same thing. By the way, every praise, that's the same place where, you know, right, if I know the structure, I'm playing the same thing. So it's the structure. If I know the structure, I can begin to do a lot of different things, right? Or I can same place. From every nation, and tongue, generation to generation, we worship. I can't remember it. I told you I'm out of practice. It's like a from every nation and tongue, from generation to generation. listen to them again, have to learn them again. But long story short, the structure is what causes the flow. No matter what I'm trying to do. And here's another key part, right? We're getting ready to go. We got to get ready for class, and we'll get ready to take our leave. But here's another key part. No matter if I mess up or not, right? You'll never know, right? I'm trying to get my son to learn that, right? Because most people who aren't trained like you are don't know you're in the wrong position anyway. So if you end up in the wrong one, just turn it into something else and do it with a straight face. Because the only one that's going to know that you did it wrong at the end is you. You don't know if I did what I just did on purpose or not. You don't know if I messed up on purpose to tell you I was messing up or if I played the real thing, right? But it doesn't matter because I'm confident. So I'm saying, and he'll make a mistake and he'll flip out, and he's a perfectionist like his father, and he'll flip out and all these different things, right? But other people don't even know your culture. Right? So they might be trying to, I didn't like the fact that you did that. And it's like, what did I do? Right? Do you know what I did? No, you don't know what I did. All right, so what I'm trying to teach him, what he's having his keyboard lessons, whether he plays keyboard when he gets older or not, what I'm trying to use the keyboards to show him is, hey son, nobody knows except you. It's between you and Yah. And if you need to correct something, you correct it. Right? It's not about what everybody else is saying. And I told him, like, he learned this, right? He learned the same thing I was doing earlier, right? Gangsta's Paradise. I know that's not the original title of the song, right? But I was teaching him this so he could learn how to play with both hands and have a little bit of independence, right? And be able to play two different things going on at the same time, right? And so he'd mess up, he'd have this, and every time he got here, he had to stop, get himself together, and then go. Right, but let's say he went, he go, oh, it's like, son, all that stuff you just did, that's great, right? Then he get upset, and it's like, and I had to tell him, I said, son, the fact that you can do this right here, I don't care if everybody and their mama knows that it's not supposed to be this right here, just keep on playing, right? And get it right next time. And when somebody has the audacity to tell you what you got wrong, right? I told him, don't even worry about it, because you can do something just doing this right here that most of the world will never be able to do, right? See, I just made a mistake, but I'm not going to let it stop me, right? I'll try to talk and do this at the same time. Either way, so I told him, like, don't get frustrated. Pastime Paradise, right? The original title, right? But, you know, I told him, don't get ashamed because people don't know what's going on, right? Or if somebody wants to tell you that you made a mistake. Because even if you made a mistake, most of the people who are going to tell you how bad it sounded and this and that, they don't have, first of all, the ability to even do what you're doing right now. And they're not even going to put the time and effort to learn what you're doing. So you're on a whole nother level doing something extraordinary. Here they are in the ordinary, like most people can't do what you do. And here you are worried about them telling you that this isn't righteous enough or it's too basic. Don't worry about it. Get the basic down. Because once you learn the basic and you keep on going, right? Right, then when you start being able to do extra stuff eventually, right? I'm just making stuff up. Right, when you can put some extra on it, and then they start looking at you, you can put some extra on it because you already went extra. To go that far extra, you do the stuff that they can't do. It's basic for you, but what they're telling you and making fun of you because you're messing up on the basics are things that they don't even have in their repertoire, right? And so I was trying to show him, get the structure down. See, we were talking about get that chord structure down. Get that structure in your life. Make sure that structure is applied. Once the structure's there, you're not worried about what these other cats had to say, right? Get the structure down. Get the structure to where you can do that, right? You know, get the structure down where you can move it up if you have to, right? But get the structure down. Actually, I don't even know what else we got. Oh, of course. The keys aren't working. Sorry. Yeah, keys aren't working. Never mind. But long story short, get the structure down. You can move it to a different place and do all these different things. Everybody else has got something to say. Everybody here says that's not the way I would have done it. If it was me, I'd have put a little extra on it. You don't sound the way that the person who originally wrote it is. That's fine. You don't have to sound like them. Our goal is not to be them. Our goal is to be ourselves, right? Get the structure down, right? All this stuff, structure, going all the way back to what we were doing originally. Right? A lot of people couldn't even do that. A lot of people couldn't do this. So if somebody wants to make fun of me because I might mess up on this, somebody wants to make fun of me because of that, but they can't even do. Right, they can't do something like that. Then I'm not worried about it, right? And so you get the culture down, you get the structure down, you get what you're called to do down, and what you'll start to discover is when people make fun of you, you'll be like, man, you making fun of me because of this, and you don't even understand how far off you are. I had somebody today, right, trying to tell me that because they wanted to tell me that I'm Ottawak instead of Taino, and they wanted to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about because we got to be Ottawak, and they don't comprehend that if I'm talking about you're talking about Ottawak, you're talking about something that somebody tried to call. There were one group of people called Ottawak. White people came over and said everybody's got to be Ottawak. It's like when people say, we're Nigeria. Well, white people came over and told you, yeah, you're all Nigerian, but what happened to your tribes, right? But they don't know what the structure, and they're about somebody else's structure. So they're busy arguing, and in their mind, they sound like this. In their mind, they sound like that, but in reality, they're... Right? They have two different keys going, and they got cognitive dissonance. Right, we can't really rock with what you're doing. The rhythm's nice, but the melody is off, and the chord structure is off, and the vibration is off. Right, you gotta be okay with, even if right now, if your level is nothing more than somebody will flow. Somebody's head is not in that. Somebody's head is not into that. Right, even if it's not as many people who are not into. And by the way, even with that, I'm not going. I'm going. Right, I'm giving a little ripple. So even in that, the level of difficulty. So somebody might be going, oh, you're messing up. I'm trying to mess up. I'm trying to ripple. I'm not playing it the same way. I'm playing the structure, but I'm able to go in a different place than you can and still be able to keep time. If you were to try to go like this, you'd be messing. You couldn't keep rhythm, but I can go. Right. So you get the structure down for who you are and be okay with where you are. And don't allow people to tell you that because you don't sound like what they heard somebody else play, it's not great enough. There are times I'm trying to sound exactly like the record, right? On this instrument, I wouldn't be able to do so. But there might be times that I am So I might want to sound just like the record here. I might want to sound like it there. I might want it to sound like that, right? But it depends on where I'm going, right? But the structure is what's going to get me where I'm headed, right? So you be faithful to the structure. That's why we keep talking about laws, commandments, statutes, mandates, or well, not mandates, but laws, commandments, statutes, word. obedience, all these words that keep popping up over and over again. Be inside structure, and you'll be able to get what you want, right? That structure is going to cause you to get you wherever it is that you want to go. So thank you so much for tuning in. Prayerfully, you'll be hearers of this word and doers of it as well. We don't know how much studying of this you'll be able to do as far as just listen to the recording or whatever, but I guess you'll have to just trust and believe that I know what I'm talking about as far as music. But all right, so thank you for being on. We appreciate you. I'm about to be late for class, so I'm going to go ahead and take my leave. Right? But thank you so much. Shalom. I got class.